6.2. Slopes. You know what? Y'all are going to have to remind me to put my posters up. No, not right now. Like later. Okay, slope. Every one of you have been here for this last year. We did these over and over and over and over again. So, very few notes, more examples than anything else. Okay? All right, remember slope. Think of like skiing, like snow skiing. Okay? A slope is exactly what it is. It's the line, it's the slope of a line. Like it could look like this. That's a slope, right? That line is sloping. It can slope at any angle. It can slope like that. It can slope that way. Y'all did graphing yesterday, and y'all saw all the different ways a line can slope. However, y'all also did number 24. Was there any slope on number 24? 24 didn't have an x-intercept. Just had a y-intercept, and it looked like this, horizontal. Is there any slope here? No. There's no slope. So when you have a horizontal line, that means it's y equals some random number. If you come to me and say, Miss Rogers, I'm confused. There's no x here. Kind of like number 24. There's no x. Right, Emily? No x. It's a boyfriend joke. Okay.
No.
We were texting back and forth on number 24. Okay, so if there's no x, then there's no slope. Right? Okay, so when you're doing these math problems and you have just y equals a number, don't freak out. That means it's horizontal. There's no slope. Same goes for if it's vertical. If it's, well, that's not very good, but if it's straight up and down, there's also no slope. Because it's just going up and down. There's nothing. It just, you know. So don't freak out when you get those weird problems. There's not going to be any slope. Okay, so a slope is exactly what it is. It's how the line is tilted. Let's say that. Okay? The slope of a line. Does anyone remember what letter represents it? Raise your hand. What letter represents it? Taylor?
M.
Yep. The slope of a line. M. So whenever you see M, that means slope. Is the ratio. What do they mean ratio? What does a ratio look like? Taylor?
A fraction.
Yep. And y'all probably remember that. Of the rise. Remember, rise goes on top. That's your vertical change. To corresponding run. There's your bottom part of your fraction or ratio. That's your horizontal change. Horizontal. Write that down. I'm going to write a little more in just a minute. I may have to move you, Taylor. I need quick access to third grade. See, that's what you need to do. Just open the door and stare at them.
One of the kids saw me looking at them, and she was sitting on the floor, and she went.
She what?
And she was sitting on the floor, and then she went. So I looked at her. Oh no.
You gotta love third grade. All right. So slope of the line is M. Don't forget. It's represented by the letter M. It's the ratio, looks like a fraction, of the rise over the run. Okay, so M, meaning your slope. In fact, I'm going to write, that's your slope. That says slope equals rise over run. Rise over run. Yes, Tara. Hold on. Over run, right? So slope is your rise over run. Do y'all remember this? And when I say rise, that's up and down. Run is side to side. So rise is up and down. Run is side to side. Do y'all remember this? Okay. The only thing that gets kids is y'all will switch it. Y'all will put the run, the left and right on top, and then rise on the bottom, and that can mess you up. The actual formula is y squared minus y1 over x squared minus x1.
Squared?
I'm sorry, I'm still tired. Y2 or sub 2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Thank you, Taylor. There's your formula. That is your slope formula. There's two ways of getting the slope. You can either just do the counting like we've done, your rise over run, or you can use the formula if you're given 2 points. And I'll show you that later. If you're done writing, put your pencils or pens down so I know you're not just doodling. Okay. Let's do an example. Find the slope of the line y equals 4. Okay, there's like that one I was telling you about. Oh no. All it is y equals 4. We don't even have an x in here. So, is that going to be a horizontal or vertical line based on number 24 yesterday? Is it going to be a horizontal or vertical line? Okay, it's going to be horizontal. So guys, if you get this equation, those are actually not too bad. There's my Cartesian plane, x and y. It says y is 4, so that's basically your y-intercept. The line or your graph is going to cross the Cartesian plane at 4, positive 4 on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it would look like this with arrows. So your slope, which is m, is 0. Because it's horizontal. I'm going to put 2 stars here. So if it's y equals 4, which it means it's a horizontal graph, your slope is 0. I'm boxing it.
Is if it's horizontal or
We're not on vertical yet.
okay, so if it's whenever it's horizontal or vertical, is that important information? Or
Yeah, man.
do we need to put it in the answer?
No, oh, no. Here's your answer right here. I boxed in the answer. All right. Let's say that we want to find the slope of the line x equals 3. Okay, here's a different one. This time it's x equals 3. What does that graph look like? That's right, it's going to be vertical. Here's my x-axis, my y-axis. Now this time it's going to be vertical. That means the line, your graph, is going to be crossing the x at 3. 1, 2, 3. And it's going to be vertical. Your slope for this is undefined. You would think it was 0, but it's not. The reason being, when we're dealing with x, usually that's with the slope. So if it's x equals 3, then your slope is undefined. If it's y, or if it's x equals anything, if it's y equals anything, your slope is 0. Do you see the difference? So anytime you have a vertical graph, the slope is undefined. Anytime you have a horizontal graph, it's going to be 0. So these notes are pretty important. Anytime it's y equals a number, it's horizontal, you have your slope is 0. Anytime you have x equals a number, your graph is horizontal, the slope is undefined. So yeah, you definitely need to know those two.
Wouldn't there still be a y going through the y? And that's,
No, it's just because my line's not straight.
no. No slope that goes through the y.
What? This has no slope.
Okay, but then we just go on the bottom.
This one has no slope. It's going straight up and down. My line is not. It's completely parallel to the y-axis.
Yeah, I know.
So it'll never cross the y.
Yes, they both have
I'm
no
just
slope.
confused on why the bottom one's undefined.
Because, well, okay, don't write this down. But do you remember this?
Yeah.
If you have no y, then you have no y-intercept. If you have no y, no y-intercept, and all you have is this, that's it, then the graph is just going to be vertical. There, you have no y-intercept. You have nothing. It's just nothing. It's undefined. Can't work.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, everyone done? Okay. Open your book. Page 242 for examples. Don't worry about negative and positives. That's so dumb. Okay. So we're going to start with 7. Okay. Let me recreate it.
Do we write the graph?
You don't have to. You can write in your book. Okay. For number 7, you can write in your book. And it says, find the slope of each line. Now, do y'all remember when I said when I talked about crosshairs? Y'all remember that? Intersections.
I remember it.
I know an intersection of them, not a cross.
Oh, don't worry about that.
I remember us learning about it. I don't remember
I don't
what
remember what it
it
is.
is. I know Minecraft crosshair.
Yep, that's Minecraft. Yep, that'll help us a
There's some
lot.
kind of crosshair.
Actually, it does.
Minecraft?
Oh, yeah.
It's 3.
Minecraft is
How does
great.
Minecraft help with
It
this?
can.
Because
Okay.
you're building
Just do
No.
it real
So,
quick.
shh, quiet. All right, so here I have my Cartesian plane, X and Y. You don't have to draw this. You can look in your book. Okay, this is the drawing that they have in your book. This is your graph right here. Okay, to find the slope of the line, remember we want to find, let's say, the intersection. That means, see these graphs, these little, all the lines on your graph paper? These are intersections where they cross. Remember that? So we're going to look on our line here and find all the places where they cross at those intersections. Here's a place. Does it cross right here? Is there an intersection right here? There is right here, though. And we could keep following it. Oh, here's another one. So you find any place where your graph crosses at an intersection. Now, if you remember to find your slope, and you can write what I'm writing on your paper. You can write this. It's rise over run. Rise over run. Remember that? This is up or down. This is left or right. So you can write this stuff right there for number 7. If we go left, if we move left, is that positive or negative?
Negative.
If we go down, what is that?
Negative.
If we go right, what is it?
Positive.
If we go up, positive. So make sure you have that written down. Y'all have this? Okay, so let's go back to our graph. So we do rise first. Rise is always first. So you can start at any dot. And I'm going to start right here to go to this one. I go, and I always tell my students, draw a map. So I go up how many places?
2.
And I go left how many places? Negative or positive?
Negative.
So then my rise, I'll just write it here, is 2. And my run is -3. And that's a weird, there's my answer. And of course, it could be written the same way, 2/3, just like that. It doesn't matter, with the negative sign. The negative doesn't necessarily have to be with the 3, because if you remember last year, the negative can go with the 2 or the 3. You can't have a -2 and a -3. Y'all remember that? If I have a -2 over a -3, what does that become?
Positive.
So you cannot have a negative over a negative. the negative either goes with the 2 or the 3. For example, let's say I want to go from this dot to this dot. I'm going to draw my map. My rise is first, so I go down how many places, which would be -2. And then I go right how many places?
3, which would be
+3. So then again, my rise would be -2 over 3.
I thought you said not to go down first.
Oh, no. You can. Up and down. Up and down is your rise. So you can do down. You can go down. That's what's misleading when they call it rise. Because you think you can only go up. No, you can go down and then over. So you can go either way. You're going to get the same answer. The negative sign can go with the 2 or the 3. In reality, the negative sign's right here in the middle. It can be with the numerator or the denominator.
Vertical over horizontal.
Yeah. But it can never be, you can never go down and left. Because that would be negative over negative. I mean, you can, but that's going to give you positive. You don't want to ever write negative over negative. What my point is, if you see this negative sign here, that does not mean -2 and -3. You can't have that. It's either going to be with the 2 or the 3, and that's your choice. Any questions? All right, let's do another. Let's look at 9. I'm going to start calling on people. Hopefully y'all remember this stuff. Okay, start looking in your book. See if you can come up with the slope first. See if you can figure it out. Write it down in your notes, and we'll see if you're correct. So there's number 9. See if you can get it. Put your pencil down when you've gotten it. And I mean, everyone has to try. Everyone figured it out? All right, so you look at find where the line crosses at an intersection, and you have to look carefully. Here's one there. Here's there, and there's usually multiple ones. Sometimes there's only going to be one. But anyway, I'm going to use this one. Okay? So, I draw my little map. We're looking for, remember, rise over run. How many times, we do our rise first. How many places did I go up?
1.
+1. How many places did I go right?
3.
There's my slope. Hopefully everyone got that. Let's say I went from this dot to this dot. Draw my map. So I'm going from this dot to this dot. How many places did I go up?
2.
How many places am I going right?
6.
Can I reduce that?
Yeah.
It becomes what?
1/3.
Same thing. So it doesn't matter as long as you do it correctly. It doesn't matter if you choose the same points. You can reduce it. Let's say Michaela chose to go down and over to the left. She went down 1, which is negative, and then she went left 3 places, which is negative. That would be -1 over -3. So, Michaela, what would that actually be? Negative over negative. So then it would be, see,
But over here, then why don't we write this?
this right here?
No, this.
Because you don't, I'm saying if you have a negative here, if you have one negative here, that does not mean negative over negative. You cannot, one negative next to your slope or your fraction does not mean a negative over negative. That just means either -2 over 3 or +2 over -3. You see what I'm saying? But if you get this in Algebra 1, you better give me this right here. Okay? You don't want to do a negative over a negative. You do not want to do that. So it can work, absolutely, but you better make sure you change it because it's negative over negative. Got it? Any questions so far? Okay. Y'all doing okay? Great. All right. Let's look at 13. All right, it says find the slope of the line passing through the given points. Now, they give you 2 points. I have actually had kids graph this because they forgot the formula. It doesn't always work. So when they give you 2 points and they're looking for the slope, they're wanting you to use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is the formula you're going to use. Underneath each of these ordered pairs, you should write x1, y1, x2, y2. It will benefit you. So anytime they give you 2 ordered pairs and say find the slope, you're using this formula right here. Okay? Right underneath x1, y1, x2, y2, and then just throw it in there. y2 is 9 minus 5 over 3 minus 2. This minus had always better be there. Even if you have a negative number here, then that's minus the negative, which would be positive. So then 9 minus 5 is? 3 minus 2 is? This is your slope. Now, remember, we're not dealing with normal fractions. That's 4 over 1. That's, rise 4, right 1. But it's also the same as just 4. If they give you a slope of 4, you better know when you're graphing it, that means 4 over 1. That's your rise, and that's your run. Any questions? Everyone have it down? All right, let's look at 15. They have 2 and 7, 3 and 7. Here's my formula. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write x1, y1, x2, y2. So then my y2 is 7, y1 is 7, x2 is 3, x1 is 2. Let y'all write that down. So 7 minus 7 is 3 minus 2 is, if you have a 0 over the 1 or any number, the slope is 0. Putting a star, 2 stars. Anytime you have 0 as a numerator and a number on the bottom, the slope is 0. Does everyone have that down? Any questions? All right. Let's look at 21. I'm going to put 2 stars. This is the same things we've been doing. Find the slope of the line passing through the given points. For 21, I have -1 and 7, -1 and 2. Again, I have my formula. I'm going to go ahead and put x1, y1, x2, and y2 underneath. I have 2 minus 7 on top. And then look what happens with the x. I have -1 minus -1. Do y'all see that? Do not forget this negative sign. Some people just replace it with this one, and that's not correct. So then I have 2 minus 7 on top. And what does this negative in front of this negative, Cecilia, mean? That's right. So it's going to be -1 plus 1. So 2 minus 7 is -5. What is -1 and +1? Oh, dear. I have a 0 in the denominator. So this time the 0 is in the denominator and a number on top. You know what that slope is? Undefined. So anytime you have a 0 in the denominator, it is undefined. Any questions so far? If you have this written down, put your pencil or pen down. So you're still writing? Okay. Take your time. You got it? You sure? All right. Let's look at 25. All right. 25, do it on the back here. It says graph the line passing through the given point with the given slope. So I'm going to draw, and y'all can too. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm drawing. It does on your homework. Drawing my graph. Here's my x. Here's my y. Okay. So for 25, the given point is 3 and 1. And the slope is negative 1/4. This is the stuff they gave you. So the first thing you're going to do is plot the point. So 1, 2, 3, and then 1. There's my first plot. Does everyone see where I did that or why I did that? If not, you better speak now.
Where'd you get -1/4?
In the book,
Oh.
it says the slope is negative 1/4. Notice the negative in the book is right there in the middle, so, it can either go with 1 or 4. But they give you this point, so now I'm going to do my slope from that. Negative 1/4, rise over run. So I'm going to go, where do I go with my rise? I start at this point. Cecilia, what do? Do I go up or down? I go up. How many places? And then what do? Left or right? Huh? Okay, so she's going to take this negative and she's applying it to the 4. So she's going up 1 and then left 4. So she's going to go up 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4 places. And that's where the next one is. And she's correct. Now we could have done down 1 and then right 4. We could have done down 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4 places there. Correct? Either way, you just take that negative and you either put it with the 4 on the bottom or the 1 on top. And then you connect your dot. The more dots you do, the more precise your graph will be. Any questions? Do we understand how to do this? Y'all remember this from last year? Hopefully. All right, y'all ready? Y'all think y'all ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Page 242 to 243. You're going to do, let's see. I think I'll be nice. Maybe not.
No,
Numbers 8 through 28 even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 problems. All right, I'll be nice. I'll leave it. Due Wednesday. That's all you need to know. I do have IXL. I'm not going to sign it. It's up to you as to whether you take advantage of it. If you are struggling with any portion of this, any portion, slopes or whatever, it's on my IXL. I have it posted on there. Take advantage of it. All right? All right, let's go.